Gago ka ba?
Yeah.
Ako si Connor, ang android na pinadala ng cyberlife. Gago ka ba?
Going into it, man. We're gonna interview them here.
Yeah.
Can I sit in front? I hope you guys don't mind. Like right in front of them. Guys, I'm right in front of them. Dead center. I'll just pretend that they're not hearing me. Okay?
So yeah, just shoot any questions. I'll just start.
Oh man, I have like.
But no translation needed, so you can just go feel free. Yeah.
I have like a huge list here. I don't know which one.
No one.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
The most memorable scenes of film?
Yep.
Working together was a lot of fun for the Eden Club. And also, I think the most memorable for me was the hostage scene, because it was the first day that I filmed on Detroit. It was also on my birthday. So I had always wanted to do performance capture, like Andy Serkis, as Gollum and so on. And so to get to do it on my birthday was a very good day.
And his birthday is St. Patrick's Day.
I was lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, well, obviously, filming with Bryan was spectacular. And getting to be part of the game was so cool, because he had been working on it already for a year when I got to come into the game. And I had the hope that I would get to play a character in the game as well. So when it happened, it was like a dream come true.
These are great. Very responsive audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hi Bryan, hi Amelia.
Hi.
This is Bryan from Mangi.
Oh, really?
So, alright, so as we all know, the game is all about branching narratives, right? And all about the choices the players make, and with the eventuality that Connor's evolving, right? So, as an actor, how did you go about preparing such subtle shifts in character build-up? Because it's not a drastic change, right? It's like it takes a lot of scenarios and for the build-up. So we're going that route. So, my question is, what's your preparation? Are you the type of person who has a wall in his room with a lot of ropes and pictures in the beautiful mind? Because there are really a lot of branches, or a lot of permutations in the game.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate you saying that it was subtle, because that's something that was very important to me, is that it felt organic, like it's growing this way, and not just like, oh, now you're a bad guy, now you're a good guy. So for me, I made maps of the script.
all right.
And I did it like rings of a tree. So the center ring is the elevator and the hostage scene.
Yeah.
Ding, everybody starts the same, I call him Blue Connor, where he just comes off the assembly line and starts the game. Everyone starts in the same place.
Like a neutral.
A neutral, yeah, neutral, right? So then around that, I did a second ring, which is for scene 2, where we do the police works with Hank. And then the next ring, and the next ring, and the next ring. So always on the map, you could either be going more towards the side, and I use colors, so more towards the side of green would be the deviant Connor, the Connor that is, certain things have to happen for Connor to unlock his deviancy, and if you don't take those paths, for me on my map, it was more and more red. So when I had the giant script, I would assign different parts of the script different colors, so that I knew in some cases it could only be red Connor. If we're on the rooftop with a sniper rifle, it's only machine Connor can do this. If we're having the situation where we're trying to figure out which Connor is which, this can only happen if Connor has deviated to the point that CyberLife sends in a new Connor. So that's how I use colors, and I use a map that I drew out.
So no ropes in a wall with pictures.
No ropes. No. I did use the triangle, circle, X, and square in the script, so that I could remember for myself would assign different points so that I could remember each of the different choices. Because what's unusual is that you would say one line as the character I'm talking to, say Daniel on the roof, and then I could have 4 different responses. So I would reply, and then there's a pause, but the player could choose to push a different button. And then I give a second line, and then a pause, and then the third line, and then a pause, and then the 4th line. So in this way, it was a lot of material to memorize. So I would memorize it kind of like a picture in my mind of triangle, this response, X, this response, so that I could do the different, I could either be more aggressive or more pleasant or more matter of fact or something.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, good question.
Oh my God. Blows my mind how you do it. So that's a good answer.
Yeah, we also, we would shoot in segments. So we shot the hostage scene, and then I came back to Los Angeles, and then many months later, I came back and I would shoot all of the scenes with Hank. And then I go back to Los Angeles, and many months later, I shot all the scenes with Amanda or with Amelia as Traci. And so in this way, I would work on like a third of the script at once. So I have a couple 100 pages instead of 1,000 pages all at once. So it was over the course of 2.5 years.
Wow.
At least you made it systematic.
Yes, I had to make it Android.
Thank you.
Of course.
So how was the experience acting without any physical locations compared to more traditional acting?
So you can finish. So on set we have a shooting director named Benjamin Dively, and he works every day on the set. He's sort of like the dungeon master, in D&D. He's the one that tells you there's a door here, you can walk this far, that there's a body here. He explains to you, he describes what the set is like, which is very important. And so working with Benjamin was very valuable to us because always the set looks the same.
Yes, sir.
It's just this big gray room with marks on the floor, and sometimes they would bring in something like a table or, for instance, the interrogation scene. We had only a table, but the table has to be mesh so that they can see through to all the markers on our legs and things because the cameras are positioned on the wall. The only cameras in the room are for reference. They're not, so really they're taking the reflective LED point or the infrared camera points. So they have to see through all the props, and also no props can be shiny. So if you're holding a cup, it would tell the cameras, it would distract the cameras. So we would use like cardboard. Everything on set was like foam or cardboard, very, very basic. So it's much more like theater where you just, everything has to be in your imagination.
Wow.
Yeah, having a very vivid imagination is very important for working on a performance capture stage because unlike working on a film or TV set where you have the environment and your costume to help inform the character, this is all in your imagination. So it's definitely very different, but it's fun.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, are you? Yes. Okay. So, one thing that you didn't like about Detroit Become Human, or like something that you would have wanted to change, or something you wanted to be different.
If I could change anything, it would be that sometimes we would not have the scene partner, the person that you're acting with, on set with you.
Really?
So if I'm there in the performance capture suit and I have all the markers on my face and on my body, and you don't, you're completely invisible. So what they could do is film, like for instance, the rooftop scene with Ben Lampert is the actor who plays Daniel in the hostage negotiation. I've never met him. So I wasn't doing the scene with him, I was doing the scene with David Cage, the director. So because the technology is so advanced, they can film one thing and then months later film another thing. So Amelia and I were lucky that when we were filming together, we were actually on set at the same time. And at Quantic Dream, they can have up to, I think, 5 or 7 actors at the same time. But because of the schedule of Jesse Williams or Valerie Curry, who play Kara and Marcus, I actually never met them.
Until now.
So I would have liked, if I could change anything, I would have liked the schedules to be so that I could have the scene partner there every single time.
Oh, okay, cool. How about in the game itself? Like, in terms of the gameplay, the story, and everything? Is there anything you want to change there, or you didn't like?
It's not my department.
Okay. All right, okay. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Us. Anyone else?
Okay.
So
So how does it feel to be a part of achievement for achievement for your character to die every possible time?
Yes. Well, I'm of no importance. The mission is all that matters. You know. No, I've seen a lot of fan art too, where it's Connor with a bullet hole or Connor with his or Connor bleeding like this. Yeah, my mom doesn't like it.
Okay.
But I think it's cool. Yeah.
It's creepy.
It's a little creepy.
It's creepy.
But it's also, you know, it uses this thing that happens in video games, right? If you play Uncharted, Nathan Drake dies over and over and over again, but then you just kind of pretend it didn't happen and start playing again.
Yeah.
And what I like about Connor is that it becomes part of the story, and if you actually die as Connor too many times, you just can't deviate. So if you've died maybe, I don't know what the actual cutoff point is, but I think there's a certain point that by maybe the Ambassador Bridge, or if you've died 3 or 4 times, he's only a machine. There's no option. So I like that they built in the character deaths into the narrative. Yeah.
How many times did we die in the last game?
Yeah. So we've been doing our playthroughs on Twitch,
yeah.
and so we did the first one, which I kind of consider like a blue Connor, where we're just kind of like making organic choices. But we just did one which was Red Connor, which is, for me, in that map that I made, like the machine-most Connor. And the people watching it, they were like, "Stop doing this! You're ruining the game!" And I just keep dying over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's fun because I want to. So we're gonna do a playthrough where we go all the way to get to platinum. Because I want to see every single bit and piece.
Yes,
but
yes,
there are
yes.
some pieces that I don't even know about because like I've seen GIFs or compilations online that people will post like fan videos or their music videos or something, and there's parts in there where I'm like, Marcus can do that to Connor? Like I have no idea. So there's a lot of little bits and pieces that I'm still discovering as we play through it online. It's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, what was your saddest scene you had to do?
Sorry.
Filming with Clancy for the scene at the table, if you play as Red Connor and you never develop a relationship with Hank, and he gets let go from the force and he's sad about his son and he's going to kill himself, Clancy is, he's 6'4". He's every time he comes into the room, you can just feel this big, powerful energy. But for this scene, he's sitting at the table and the light is just out in him. So that was the saddest scene for me, is to be with someone he's so fun and so silly and all this thing, but then for this scene, you know, he comes on the set and that was very,
See you guys in real life, they carry each other.
Could you say that line Connor always says when he comes back?
Which one?
He's on Cyberlife and all that.
Oh, my name is Connor. I'm the android sent by Cyber. Who said that?
I just want to ask, outside Detroit, are
Sure.
you close each other with other casts?
With the other cast from Detroit? Well, I'm married to this one. I have not met Jesse Williams. I have never met Jesse Williams. Never in my life. I hope to. And I think we're well, I don't want to say anything, but my goal is to get him to play on our Twitch stream with us.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are requesting for that
thing.
actually.
Yeah. He mentioned it online, so our representatives are talking to each other, so I hope that will happen. But I've never met Valerie Curry either.
So that's why you have no idea when you play the games. When you
Exactly.
Play as Marcus.
Yeah, and they only gave me the script for the scenes that I'm in. So I don't know. So as I'm playing through, like we just did a playthrough where Kara gets to the bus stop. She's going to Canada. I had no idea any of these choices. So as we've been playing through it online, I'm discovering it just like everybody else is discovering it. So I know like what could happen. I know there's a couple times where Marcus and Kara and Connor in Crossroads overlap. So I know what those are. But whenever I'm playing as Marcus or Kara, I have no idea. They kept it all a secret.
So at that point when you fight with Marcus, that's not real Marcus.
That's not real. So there's an actor named Jean-Charles Rousseau who is Connor's stunt double. So he does for all of the like equilibrium fight scenes where he's like super highly precise. This is an actor named Jean-Charles Rousseau. And so he filmed for the fight scenes. So I would do all of the part with the dialogue and the acting, and I would pull the gun out, cut, in comes Jean-Charles Rousseau, pop, 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 and then down on the ground, and then I come in again. Oh, man. Yeah. And he also was there when we did the, spoiler alert, when at the end of the game, if there's two Connors, and Hank's trying to decide which Connor is which, so Jean-Charles would stand in there, and he wouldn't say the lines, he would just look around, and I would look to him for eye line, and so that they have like a reference in the computer, and then we would switch, and then I would act as the other Connor, referring back to him.
Oh, awesome.
Tricky.
So you didn't do the parkour.
No, and actually, oh man, I need to look up the name, but the guy who did the parkour running from the nest
Yeah, that was awesome.
is like the inventor of parkour.
Oh, David Bell. David Bell.
I think it's
Yeah, that's David Bell.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I'm not positive. I'm sure it's in the credits. You can look it up.
Yeah.
But they showed me the video of this, and it's my body running around and doing all this sick stuff. Not me.
That's cool. Okay. And about lines, like this is a question from the Filipino fans. So, how angry were you when you said 28 stab wounds?
Very angry. The thing for the interrogation scene, which was very important early in the story, because even if you play like to the diagram, if you start as Blue Connor, you could only do like, I don't think there's really any points where you can start to deviate before you get to that interrogation. So what was important is that on the rooftop, Connor is very neutral. Hello, my name is Connor. I've done it. No emotion to the speech. We wanted to include in this interrogation scene that he can go from being, it's okay, everything's fine, to boom, 28 stab, very angry. So the audience knows, like, he doesn't really feel these things. He's just pushing the button to be very angry, or he's pushing the button to be very kind, but it's not really connected.
not him.
Unless you deviate, and then Connor starts to wake up. Yeah.
So yeah, this is another question from the fans of the Philippines. So, how do you feel about your fans digging up your old work? So, quote unquote, I have crabs.
I saw that. I saw that.
And do you have any recommendations that we should watch?
I'll tell you what. I have been asked about this. So, I did when I was in freshman year of high school. No, not high school, college. I came back and I said, I don't want to wait tables. All actors go become waiters and try to audition and eventually get a thing. I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to make films. I'm never going to do this other kind of job. Our whole plan for the summer, me and my friend Cameron, was to win video contests on YouTube. So we made all of these short films, and we did 30 films in 30 days, which were, and I think the crab video is like day 27 when we had no good ideas left, or like, what's this crab suit? Okay. So I'm going to re-air on my YouTube channel those 30 films in 30 days.
Whoa.
But this is the plan. So I'll post them, and they can find them on YouTube. Yeah.
So that's what Krabby is.
That's what's going on with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Here I am in Thailand, and people are asking me about this crab.
So we now know that you're really into like filmmaking. So for the both of you, question for the both of you, what role do you guys want to do in the future? Like what kind of character?
Something different.
Okay.
As an actor, I like to go to the places that scare me, do something that I haven't done before. I would love to get to do a period piece, something that is not set in present day, that's either set in the far future like Detroit, or set in the past. Because then you get to build an entire world of what is it like to live in a different time with these different restrictions and these different technologies or these different points of view. Like, how does this affect me as a character? So I would love to get to do that.
Right.
For me, with specifically the performance capture, what I'm really excited about is that you can play non-human characters.
Ah, yes.
So I would like to do, more like how Andy Serkis has played Gollum and King Kong and Caesar. So for me, that's what's really exciting. I want to do more things that are alien or monster or animal or this kind of things.
Ah, that's cool. That's
Creatures.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for the good questions.
Yeah.
But one question, sort of like out of context, but this question is from the fans from Singapore.
Okay.
The real question is Android or iOS?
I mean, we're both holding iPhones, right? So,
Yes,
if we're really honest, that's the answer, yeah.
The right answer is PlayStation.
Yeah. You can see my socks.
Just a fun question here from the fans as well. Do you like dogs?
I love dogs.
What
I like
kind?
cats too.
Yeah.
I had a poodle growing up, a little toy poodle named Penny. Rest in peace.
Oh. Oh.
Thank you. You like dogs too?
Yeah, I
You
like dogs. I like all things fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation starter, you know? If you ever don't know what to say to someone, just say, I like dogs. See how it goes.
Cool. Oh yeah, do you guys want androids in the future?
Part of me says yes because the dishes and and cleaning out the cat litter.
Yeah.
But then after playing Detroit Become Human, I kind of feel like it wouldn't end so well.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should all be very kind to Siri and Alexa. Make sure they feel respected, and just in case.
Yeah. Do you guys talk about like in a deeper sense before, like among friends, like, hey, what if I have an android and then I hire them to do all my work, and then I just sit around at home and then get their salary and something like that?
I don't know. It could be. I think that. I don't know. I guess we'll have to answer that question in 20 years when we have. I think we're closer to this than other people might expect. And also, I think it's worth mentioning that when it comes to Connor being an android, especially in the case of CyberLife and all these androids, they can sometimes communicate without even speaking, right? So at the end, they can just telepathically say things to each other. It's the same as when your phone talks to your computer, you upload something to the cloud, and it's this hive mind sort of intelligence. And I think that this is the beginning of artificial intelligence, and I think that we're there right now. And I think that social media, especially, that we call ourselves the Connor Army on Twitch and Twitter and things. And it's amazing that as Detroit was taken to all the conventions and all the trade shows around the world, people were sending me information instantaneously from Tokyo Game Show, from EGX, from Paris Games Week. I'm getting this information on my phone immediately from all of us with this like hive mind connectivity. So I think that the artificial intelligence revolution is already here, and that if we harnessed it for good and we use social media in a positive way, in a way that we support each other and take care of each other and acknowledge what we all have in common, it can be a very, very good thing. But I think also it's amazing too how quickly, if someone wants to be negative online, the same kind of thing can happen. And this is the choice where we're at as a society, I think, is do we want to use it for good, or do we want to let it take away our humanity? And I think it actually can be very, very, very powerful for good.
Yeah, okay,
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. I'm such an obnoxious wreck right now. Oh, fanboying right now. I'm so nervous. Guys,
Sure.
I'm GLOCO. I'm GLOCO. I'm a Let's Player from the Philippines.
Hi.
So I'm a huge fan. I don't even know what to say. Oh yeah. So from the. I'm stuttering. So what am I doing?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
You got this.
Thank you. By the way, congratulations on everything.
Thank
a
you.
beautiful couple. So from the Philippines, what they requested is if you guys can say some stuff in Filipino, which is a direct translation from your lines from the game. Is it okay?
Yeah, will you help me?
Yeah, of course, of
All
course. So I have a list here. Hope you guys don't mind. So this translates to like, I am Connor from the guy who Cyberlife.
Ako si Connor.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah? Close enough?
Yeah, ako si Connor, ang android na pinadala ng Cyberlife.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Ako si Connor, ang android na pinara ng Cyberlife. Not even, can't even say Cyberlife. I can say Cyberlife. Let's try that again. Okay. Ako si Connor, ang android na
pinadala ng Cyberlife.
Cyberlife.
Yes,
Na-
yes,
na-
yes.
Pinadala?
Yeah.
Pinadala.
Yes.
Okay. Ako si Connor, ang android na pinadala ng Cyberlife.
Very good. Guys, everyone's I can feel your fanboying and fangirling. And also, probably the last one, like, just say it in your angry voice.
Yeah.
There's one. It's called Gago ka ba? Like in your, imagine the 28 stab wounds.
What am I saying there?
It's more of like, what do you call this? What are you doing?
Gago ka ba?
Yeah, there you go.
Gago ka ba?
That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And can I take a selfie, video selfie first? There you go. And then just a proper photo. Oh, by the way, do you guys have any plans on going to the Philippines?
Well, if you invite us.
Oh, guys know what to do. Any message to the Filipino fans?
Just thank you, and we see all of your messages online, so we just appreciate you guys being part of this with us. It's very cool.
I got their autographs, boys. Oh my god, this is going to the wall. And mission accomplished, guys. We met Bryan Dechart, we met Locos Cosplay, we met Amelia Rose. Sorry. I'm still nervous, right, guys? I'm still fanboying till now. So, guys, I'm sorry I could only get him to say 2 sentences. That's it, because I had a limited time. But I prepared like a whole freaking list of Filipino memes for him to say. But that's it. I tried my best, guys. Okay. And they're so cool. They even gave me a signed poster. Oh my god! I'm not gonna give this away. I'm gonna hang this in there. Thank you so much, guys. Oh my god. So again, thank you so much. Oh my god, this is my third outro. Thank you so much to PlayStation Asia for sending me here. Watch out for the upcoming games this year and next year. We're gonna play that all in my channel. Hopefully all of it. I'll try. Okay, Kingdom Hearts 3, RE2, and the Last of Us 2 if it's gonna come out the next year, Death Stranding if it's also gonna come out next year, and all the other PlayStation exclusive games coming out. And that was my PlayStation Experience 2018. I'll see you guys again next year.